Ontario Police Memorial Foundation Ceremony of Remembrance. I'm Julia Supa, and joining me from the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation is Doug Allen. Doug, we're here outside of Queen's Park, across the street from Queen's Park, to pay tribute to the 272 police officers in Ontario who have fallen in the line of duty. Now, this is the first time we've gathered in person since 2019 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Why is this event so special?
This event is special for the officers in the province of Ontario because we want to remember their co-workers and other officers in the province that have given the ultimate sacrifice in performing their duties. The families, it's very special to them because, yes, it's hard at the beginning when death is fresh, but when you move on through the years, it's nice to come here and remember your loved one with this memorial. So we want to keep this up as a foundation, and so their names are engraved, the officers' names are engraved in granite to be forever here.
And as I mentioned, there's 272 names of police officers in Ontario that are on the memorial wall. This year we are adding 6 new names, 3 of which are historical additions, and we're looking at Constable Jeffrey Northrup from the Toronto Police Service on our screen right now.
Yeah, Constable Northrup, he was involved just over here at City Hall in a priority call, robbery call, in the basement of City Hall when he was run over by a motor vehicle intentionally and was murdered. He was a well-liked person in the community and certainly a great officer. Died far too young.
And Constable Mark Hoving, OPP, Manitoulin Detachment, in 2020.
Well, Mark worked in Tobermory on the island, and this was actually opposite to what we had in Toronto. It wasn't downtown Toronto, it was out in a remote part of Manitoulin Island where the officer and another officer were called to a squatter on a person's property near hunt camps. And that evolved into the officer being fatally shot and lost his life as a result. So we have a murder in downtown Toronto, and with the diversity of Ontario, we had a murder out in a remote area of the province.
And tell me about Constable Joan Teresa Van Breda from Niagara Regional Police. You have a personal connection to Constable Van Breda.
I worked with Joan in 1984. She was training as a police officer and was at a motor vehicle accident and was struck by another auto coming past. And the lady with her was also struck, the civilian person that was involved in the motor collision. That person died. Joan fought for several days, unconscious in hospital, fought back and survived her catastrophic injuries, and she was able to function, but with physiotherapy every day going and struggling along, and she was able to complete many years of service after. We had 31 years, somewhere around there, of service, and then she succumbed to her injuries that had been affecting her for all those years. She wanted to be an officer since she was 5 years old, and that's what drove her. She could have walked away from policing with the injuries she had, but she wanted to be a police officer and put in a very great career.
And so that ties us into this phrase that you're going to hear us use throughout the day today: heroes in life, not death. And Joan continued policing despite her injury. Throughout the ceremony today, you'll hear that phrase. And for Toronto Police Officer Tyrone Hilton, this ceremony of remembrance and the memorial wall is personally important.
My name's Tyrone Hilton. I work for the Toronto Police Service. I'm also the officer commanding of the Chief Ceremonial Unit. And the importance of this memorial for me is actually there's a personal connection. Laura Ellis, whose name is on the wall, I worked with Laura. And than in my personal life. Todd Bayless, I grew up in a neighborhood where he was one of the older kids that we looked up to, played street hockey with. So when I think back to those times, it hits a personal note for me. But also, it's about a family. It's about us getting together to support each other. And in the mantra of service before self, when we're out day after day serving those in the community, I think it's also important that one day a year we get together to support each other. My message to a new recruit is come down to the Ontario Police Memorial the first Sunday in May every year and show your respect, show your belonging to this family, and we'll remember them. I think this is an opportunity for them to attend and really take in the traditions and the histories of not only their respective police agencies, but policing in Ontario. It's important for them to see what it means to get together and support others. I mean, our saying, heroes in life, not death, that's the importance, is that those who are here living need to come and get together and remember our fallen. Heroes in life, not death.
And there we have it, heroes in life, not death. Let's take a look at what's happening here around Queen's Park. We've got hundreds of police officers. This is a sight, we haven't seen this for a few years at least.
Yes, last couple of years with COVID, the ceremony's been canceled. What you see in the picture now is you see the procession or the parade coming down from the Royal Military, or the ROM, and they're marching down and setting up just outside of the square at Queen's, across from Queen's Park and outside of the Police Memorial Square, Parquet. Now, see the officers here, they're starting to line up. The lead of the parade would be the RCMP, followed by the Ontario Provincial Police, and then the rest of the services would fall in after, as well as we'll have correctional officers is here today, and there is some other groups that are here today that are peace officers.
So we mentioned the 272 names on the wall, which is behind us here in front of our ceremony. There are also 3 historical additions. Now, these are fallen officers who have been identified by the Ontario Police Memorial historian after research submissions by the Brockville, Brantford, and Guelph Police Services, and we'd like to honor them. Constable John Tevens from Guelph Police in 1945, Constable John Hickey, Brantford Police Service in 1897, and Constable Alexander Wright, Brockville Police Service, 1895.
The Guelph officer, Constable John Steves, he was April 21st became a member of the Guelph Police Service, and then in January 1945, he was involved in a car accident. A drunk driver hit him, and subsequently succumbed to his injuries. The Constable John Hickey of the Brantford Police, he was an officer back in July 1895. This is a find from way back historically. And he was involved in an accident, had very severe injuries to his knee and wrist. Well, and nowadays you wouldn't die from that, but in 1895 it only took a short time, and he succumbed to these injuries because they never healed properly.
Okay.
I think you see on the monitor right now Premier Ford arriving and being met by the Ontario Police Memorial, arriving at the Police Memorial.
Now, in speaking with families of fallen officers, which you do quite a bit, Doug, what does this honor, being here at the Ontario Police Memorial, mean to them?
It means to them their loved one has never been forgotten. They died serving the people of Ontario. It's important to them that they see that the respect they have from all the officers being here, the 1,000 officers here today, the public, just being on TV where the more elderly or the people that can't come to this event can sit and watch the TV and watch the ceremony or be a part of the ceremony, and it really gives them a feeling of how respected their loved one was.
For sure. And we want to talk about Constable Vu Pham. Constable Vu Pham was shot in the line of duty in 2010. His family has attended this ceremony many, many times, and as we mentioned, this event is not just honoring the fallen officers, but their families as well. And here's Heather Pham with her story.
I'm Heather Pham, and I am the widow of OPP Constable Vu Pham, who was shot and killed in the line of duty on March 8th, 2010 in Huron County. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a Monday morning, and there had been a call come in to the comm center. It was a Chuck well-being call. It seemed fairly straightforward. They were assured that all of the man's firearms were accounted for. So they headed out to the residence that they were to check and found it empty. As they were leaving the residence, my husband encountered the suspect vehicle. He radioed his partner, requesting backup, and as soon as he pulled over the vehicle, the man exited and he immediately shot my husband. He really had no warning of the danger that he was in. When I arrived at the hospital, there was a sea of media and officers, and there was one officer that I knew personally. He had been a partner of my husband's, and I just immediately went to him, and he just said, "Heather, it's not good. He's been shot in the head, and it's not good." I was able to be with him while he succumbed to his injuries later that day. Telling 3 boys that they will never see their father again this side of heaven is probably one of the most devastating things I've ever had to do. They were 7, 10, and 12 at the time, so fairly young, but old enough to understand. They took it hard, obviously, but they're great kids. They're very strong, and they hold on to the good memories. He was a very dedicated father. He was a dedicated husband, community member, coach, and police officer. I'm sure that everyone in the office had heard stories about his 3 boys because he was the proudest father I have ever met. They were his pride and joy. He enjoyed hunting and hockey and fishing, and they spent a ton of time together. His dream was always to be a police officer from the time that I met him, and I feel like he overcame a ton of obstacles. He escaped war-torn Vietnam as a young child and was separated from his biological mother at the border. He basically was an orphan when he arrived. He lived with a family. He could not speak English. They could not communicate. He was stubborn. His main goal was to be the best in English class and to be able to speak without an accent. And to talk to him, you would never know that he was a first-generation immigrant. He played a little bit of hockey when he was young, so he enjoyed hockey and got involved in coaching. He coached some soccer as well. And absolutely loved being either on the bench or in the stands, and attending everything that he possibly could, sometimes in the arena in uniform. The boys are now 19, 21, and 23, and 2 of the 3 are interested in pursuing policing. They're amazing, well-adjusted adults who just really miss their dad. We love to talk about him, laugh, reminisce, and just appreciate the memories that we have. We enjoy attending the memorial and the events. Having his sacrifice remembered is very important to the boys and I. It helped get us through some very tough times. I think it's important that the individual police forces support their members attending the memorials. I think that they should be supported in any way possible because it's such a great encouragement to the families. It's also important for us to be there and support and meet the new families as they go through what we went through and as they become part of that family, we are then able to help support them in turn.
You are watching the 23rd Annual Ontario Police Memorial. You are watching the 23rd Annual Ontario Police Memorial Foundation Ceremony of Remembrance. I'm Julia Supa alongside Doug Allen. We just heard from Heather Pham. And I just want to remind everyone at home that all of the videos that we are playing here today have been produced for the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation and are available on YouTube as well as many others. And for everyone at home watching, we thank you for joining us at home to engage and share your experience. We'd like you to do so on social media. You can visit us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Use the hashtag Heroes in Life and tag us at Heroes in Life. So we are standing by. We have seen Premier Doug Ford arrive, and we are currently waiting for the Lieutenant Governor, Elizabeth Dowdeswell.
Yes, the Lieutenant Governor is the last to arrive. She's regal. Her position is always taken up last. And this is part of the tradition of the ceremony itself. It's very steeped in tradition taken from military and past things that police have done for this ceremony, which started back in 2020. Sorry, not 2020, 2000.
And so we do have a camera at the door. We are expecting her arrival any minute. Let's talk about children. We saw Constable Vu Pham's family, and he had 3 young boys at the time of his passing in 2010. I want to talk about Colleen Eve. Colleen Eve was only 3 years old when her mother, OPP Sergeant Margaret Eve, died in the line of duty. Here's her story.
My name is Colleen Eve, and I am the daughter of Sergeant Margaret Eve. She was an OPP officer and was killed in the line of duty in June of 2000. She was doing a roadside stop with 2 of her colleagues and was hit when a tractor trailer failed to move over. She was sent to hospital in London and she died 3 days later. It's hard to put into words what that has done to our family. She was truly the rock and what held us together. My whole family, my extended family, her brothers, her sisters, and we miss her a lot. I am 23 years old now, and I'm still affected by this collision every single day. It crosses my mind. And when I see an ambulance or a police cruiser on the highways, I can't help but think about my family and my story and everything that it's done to us. I can't really express how difficult that is to have no memory of my own mother. I can't remember, the things she used to say to me or the songs she used to sing. I never got the lessons that she was going to teach me in life. People always tell me that I have her laugh and that I have her mannerisms or something like that, and it sucks that I can't remember it. It sucks that I don't know what they're talking about when they say I cross my legs the same way she does. But knowing that I do is really special, and it's something that I am so grateful for, that I have these little things to remember her, and this is my way of remembering her. This is my own special way of keeping that flame alive, and it's really, really important to me that she's remembered and that people come together and remember her as well. She has her name here on the wall in Toronto, and that truly is just something that keeps her memory alive. It lets me and my family know that she was really, really important, not only to us, but to the whole Ontario Provincial Police Association. It's so important to me that her memory lives on in the best way possible and that she's continued to be remembered. I think it's important that people come to this memorial, other police officers that are still working in the line of duty, to remind them that nothing is guaranteed and that they are doing a very important job that not a lot of people would do. There has to be some good that comes from this. I have to believe that. My family has to believe that. That's what keeps me going, and this is what I know that she would want. She would want to be remembered. She would want to influence people, and if she could know the influence that she has had, she'd be honored. And she would be so honored that everybody is coming together to remember not only her, but her fellow officers that have fallen as well.
And that is why we're here. We're here to remember. We're here to honor.
Well said. That was very moving.
We are moments away from the start of our ceremony. We did just see Lieutenant Governor Elizabeth Dowdeswell join the group, and we are waiting for the ceremony to begin.
And the ceremony will begin. She is the last person to be seated as regal, and we'll have our Master of Ceremonies appearing shortly. This is a picture of the senior officers out on the street from the different police services. They're able to watch this ceremony via large screen TVs that are set up on the street. As you can see today, it's extra large today. It looks like we have a few thousand officers out there. You can see in the back, the very back, in front of Queen's Park is the pipe bands. And now we're looking across. This is where the Lieutenant Governor will take the salute on the parade past. And now we're off to our Master of Ceremonies.
The Ontario Police Memorial Ceremony of Remembrance is called to order. Your Honor, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing if you are able for the singing of the national anthems of the United States and Canada.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep a land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated.
Parade. Shoulder arms. Parade. Order arms. Parade. Stand at ease.
I would now like to ask Father Jim Mockler to deliver the opening prayer for us.
Let us pray. God of compassion and love, we ask your blessing on our province. May we never take for granted its beauty found in our land, our people, and the gift of our diversity. This morning, as we come to this sacred place, we keep the flame of faith and love alive in our hearts. As we read the names upon the markers, we are grateful that these names have also been written for all ages in the palm of your loving hand. Hold those who have gone before us in your loving embrace. Remind us that nothing dies, life is only transformed into new life. We come to honor lives given and lives lived in the service of the citizens of Ontario. Give them a holy rest and peace at the last, with their duty complete. Amen.
Your Honor, honored guests, family members, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, my name is Kevin Frankish. I am humbled to once again be here before you to lead this ceremony. It's our 23rd year as we carry on the tradition of honoring our heroes in life. I would like you to remember one thing during this entire ceremony. What brings life? The rains from heaven. So let's just look at it that way, shall we? Maybe just leave the umbrellas down? No. Please put them up if you'd like to. I walked in here as they were reading the names, and just as I walked in, they read the name of Constable Todd Bayless from 12th Division. We lost him, I believe, in 1994. It's been my privilege to be accepted as a member of the brothers and sisters of our police agencies in so many years, and I remember Officer Bayless in particular. That one hit me hard. I also remember 1984, Constable Douglas Tribling, York Regional Police, who we lost. I know that each and every one of us here today have someone or a number of people we are remembering as we remember them in life. I want to thank you all for being present at the Ceremony of Remembrance. The memorial site forever stands as a symbol of our respect and gratitude for the service and the ultimate sacrifice of 272 of our fallen colleagues. I would like to introduce the president of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, Mr. Jason Tomlinson.
We're back. It's amazing to see everyone here together again. Welcome to the 23rd Annual Ceremony of Remembrance here at the Ontario Police Memorial at Queen's Park. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by the Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Your Honor, Premier, Minister, distinguished guests, allow me to offer our appreciation for your continued support of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation. On behalf of the Board of Directors, welcome. Today is a day of mourning, a day of reflection, a day of encouragement and support. But most of all, today is a day of gratitude. We are so very grateful to the 272 officers named on our Wall of Honor behind me. We are grateful to them for answering the call to serve, and that the call outweighed any threat of danger, threat of violence, or risk of death. Let us never forget that those officers are far more than names etched on a granite wall. They are our sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters. They are our friends. And let us count ourselves lucky to have met them, to have known them, to have worked with them, and to have loved them. Thank you for your sacrifice. These are the words that echo through our hearts and minds and are offered during speeches like this one to honor our fallen. Thank you. The words are sincere and the sentiment proper. We will remember them. The people to whom we are truly indebted are the families of the fallen. There are many of you here today. You live with their sacrifice day after day. Inspiringly, you find daily ways to reflect on the fond memories not of a police officer, but of a cherished parent, child, or sibling. So to the families who have shared their loved ones with us, with our profession, and our community, I say thank you. Thank you for sharing your treasured loved one with us. We stand beside you today and every day. This year, we will be adding 6 names to the Wall of Honor. Constable Alex Wright, Brockville Police. Constable John Hickey, Brantford Police. Constable John Tevens, Guelph Police. Constable Joan Van Breda, Niagara Regional Police. Provincial Constable Mark Hoving, Ontario Provincial Police. And Constable Jeffrey Northrup, Toronto Police. I choose not to review the events around what led them to be honored here today, but rather reflect on the life they chose to live. A selfless life devoted to their families, dedicated to their communities, and loyal to their calling. We can honor them best by following their example and emulating the life they led. We will remember them, our heroes in life. Thank you, Miigwech.
Thank you, Jason. It is with great pleasure now I introduce the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. Your Honour.
Thank you. Premier, Mr. Tomlinson, families of the fallen, parliamentarians, distinguished guests, good afternoon, bonjour, bonjour. As we come together in remembrance, I wish to first recognize that the Crown I represent has a special relationship with the Indigenous peoples of these lands. So as we gather here on this traditional territory of Indigenous peoples, we renew that relationship, rededicating ourselves to the spirit of the treaties and to the essential work of reconciliation. Last year, around this same time, I visited this memorial site to pay tribute to the fallen officers immortalized in this monument. I did so alone. I did so in lieu of this powerful ceremony, postponed due to the circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I did so with mixed emotions. Mixed because I could feel the absence of the people of Ontario, those who travel from across this province and country, as they have today, to come here on this first Sunday in May to honor the fallen. And so it was on their behalf that I made my visit. Because I knew from my conversations with leaders and citizens during the darkest day of this pandemic just how very grateful the people of this province were and are for the police officers in their communities. And I'm very thankful that we can be together again to express that appreciation and to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. This morning, thanks to the historical research conducted by the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, we're able to commemorate Constable Alexander Wright, who died in 1895, Constable John Hickey, who died in 1897, and Constable John Stevens, who died in 1945. So too do we pay homage to officers who died in the line of duty only recently. Constable Mark Hoving, Constable John Teresa Van Breda, who passed in 2020, and Constable John Northrop, who passed in 2021. I want to take a moment to pay tribute to these three officers, to quite simply share with you some of what was shared with me about the weight of their loss, about the significance of their contributions to the places they lived, worked, and shaped for the better. On Manitoulin Island, near the sacred fire burning in his honor in Wigwamacong, I was privileged to hear firsthand that Constable Hoving was a community leader, beloved across the island for his warm and reassuring presence about how his faith guided his abiding dedication and kindness. After her passing in May 2020, from tributes that poured in from friends, family, and colleagues in the Niagara region, I learned that Constable Van Breda was a person of astonishing bravery, who achieved her childhood dream of becoming a police officer and who never failed to lift up those around her. And from Constable Northrop's loving wife, proud children, parents, and extended family, following his memorial service, I heard about a caring man described as a gentle giant who lived to support those who needed a helping hand, be it at the Special Olympics in Brampton or members of his team at 52 Division. The dedication of these officers and their commitment to their fellow citizens will never be forgotten. Engraved on this beautiful memorial are the words, "Heroes in life, not death. La vie en fait des héros, non la mort." Nothing truer could be said for the lives of Mark, Joan, and Jeffrey. While their tragic deaths testify to the inherent dangers of policing, their lives lived in service to others unmistakably affirm that policing is more than a profession. It's a calling to make a difference in extraordinary ways, to put the well-being of others before your own, to live heroically. This year marks Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. It's a meaningful opportunity to celebrate her 70 years of steadfast devotion to duty and to recognize and reflect on the enduring value of service in our society at large. In her ageless wisdom, Her Majesty has said that when life seems hard, the courageous do not lie down and accept defeat. Instead, they're all the more determined to struggle for a better future. Far from accepting defeat throughout the trials of the COVID-19 pandemic, police officers have been a beacon of hope and support. And they brought to life the courage and determination we so desperately needed to hold fast and overcome. By serving and protecting us, no matter the context, in times of both harmony and great challenge, police officers play a crucial role in ensuring our individual and collective safety, security, and resilience. These actions indeed should inspire us all to be heroes in our own lives, to work fearlessly, to struggle, as Her Majesty declares, towards a better future. This morning, Ontarians stand in solidarity with those who grieve and unite in healing. Au nom de la Reine, as Her Majesty's representative, I offer police officers and those supporting them today and every day a most sincere thank you on behalf of a grateful province. Merci, miigwech.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's now my privilege to introduce and call upon the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of the Province of Ontario.
Well, good morning, Your Honor, ministers and colleagues. To those here with us today, to police service colleagues, and to the families and friends of our fallen heroes, I want to say that it is a privilege for me to stand with you as we honor the memory of those we have lost. This is the first in-person police memorial ceremony we've been able to hold in 3 years. I wish I could say that no new names have had to be added to the memorial at this time, but sadly, that is not the case. And so, it is with the heaviest of hearts that we must call out 6 more names this day. 6 more heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of keeping the people of this province safe from harm. These officers never wavered in their sworn duty to protect the people of this province regardless of the personal risk. That, my friends, is the definition of selflessness, the definition of true bravery. As Premier, I've had the privilege of meeting so many police officers right across this great province. I know that the life of a police officer is more than just a job or a career, as you mentioned, Your Honor. It's a calling, it's a duty. I understand that. I have 3 police officers in our family. On behalf of the people and the government of Ontario, we thank these fallen heroes for their service and their sacrifice. To their family members and loved ones, I want you to know that we are deeply sorry for your loss. We mourn alongside you. The legacies of those lost will live forever in our thoughts and in our prayers. And to all those who wake up every day, who put on their uniforms and go to work in the line of duty, I say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and God bless all our women and men in uniform. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier. I would invite anybody who has an umbrella and those who don't to sort of gather closer together for this and stay as dry as you can. The ceremony of remembrance continues now with the laying of the wreaths at the base of the memorial by our honored dignitaries and guests who will be escorted by our guard of honor. We begin with, on behalf of the people of Ontario, the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, Lieutenant Governor. On behalf of the Government of Ontario, the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier. On behalf of the members of Ontario's police services and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, OPP Commissioner Thomas Craig. On behalf of the police officers of the United States of America, Detective Michael Catlin, New York City Police. On behalf of the families, including those of you with us today, retired Toronto Police Detective Kevin Van Schubert. Ladies and gentlemen, I call now on the All Nation Singers to perform the Honor Song. Thank you, and make a witch. We now have the act of remembrance. This will consist of the last post, a moment of silence, the lament, firing of salute, but perhaps the most significant and the most important is reveille, which is reserved for the day after, for the morning, for life. Please stand.
John! Parade colors to the carry. Shoulder! Arms! Parade general salute. Present! Arms! Parade, shoulder, arms. Parade, general salute, present, arms. Parade, shoulder, arms.
Blessed are you, God of all creation. As we remain grateful for those who gave their lives, we ask you to be with us in the days to come and support all those who serve in policing, members sworn and civilian. Protect them in the risks they take and the sacrifices they make in order to uphold the law and ensure our citizens can live their lives in safety and peace, bringing a sense of calm to even the most chaotic situations. Instill in them a sense of and a desire for wellness, both physical and mental. At the end of the day, keep them mindful that they have made a difference to the welfare of the people they serve and return them safely to those they love. In all the days to come, may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God look upon you with kindness and always bring you peace.
If I may indulge you to remain standing, if you are able to, for the royal anthem.
Parade. General salute. Present. Arms. Shoulder. Arms.
Please be seated. A final note to our family members who are here today. It strikes me that you've had to share a lot with us. You shared your loved one day after day for us. Even in their passing, many of you had to share with thousands who lined a parade route. We want to thank you because these were not just police officers. These were mothers and fathers, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, loved ones, friends. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attendance today and making this ceremony of remembrance a fitting tribute to the lives of these heroes who lived and died and continue to live in our hearts and in our memories. Thus, heroes in life, not death. On behalf of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, the officers here on parade, and all the family and friends here today, I would like to acknowledge and thank the Lieutenant Governor, the Premier, and the Solicitor General for their attendance and continued support of this event. Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you once again to please stand? As the parade prepares to march past, I would ask our guests to remain at their seats. Upon completion of today's ceremony, you are invited for refreshments and food, which will be set up and served at the Bay Grosvenor parking lot. I now wish to invite the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, and the official party to be escorted by the Guard of Honour to receive the salute and the march past. I would also invite the families of Constable Northrup, Constable Hoven, and all the families of fallen officers to join in viewing the march past.
RCMP, OPP, military police, move to the left. Left, turn. Remainder, move to the right. Right, turn. Parade will reform. By the right, quick, march.
You are watching the 23rd Annual Ontario Police Memorial Foundation Ceremony of Remembrance. I'm Julia Supa alongside Doug Allen from the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation. This is a ceremony steeped in tradition and respect to honor these police officers killed in the line of duty. We have heard about how important it is for today's police officers to be here at today's ceremony every year. Give me your perspective on that, Doug.
This ceremony is in honor of those who've sacrificed their life, given the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duties for the people of Ontario. It's an Ontario Police Memorial. As you see now, it's also for the families. The families have an opportunity to come back, recognize their loved ones and the sacrifice they have given, and the fact that people remember that the sacrifice their loved ones have given, and they're able to come back. And you see, I believe you see on your screen, people going up to the wall to look at the engravings of their loved one or their friends or sons, daughters. Some people will go up and actually trace with a pencil the engraved names so they'd have it for their home. So it is a tradition. It's for the families, it's for the officers, and it's certainly a privilege to be here to see such an event.
And while the weather has not quite held up for us today, there's something kind of ironic about the raindrops hitting the memorial wall as everyone is visiting it.
As with rain is sometimes reflected as tears, but other times rain, you need rain for growth. And that's what's coming out of this ceremony.
And so what are we seeing right now here, Doug?
We're seeing the procession starting past the reviewing stand of the Lieutenant Governor. They'll take the salute. Starting in the procession is the RCMP in their red surge. They're a federal police force, and they're in order of the procession, the federal government would come first, and the RCMP, followed by any military personnel. We see a couple there.
And as we're watching this, I want to direct everyone to the bottom of your screens. You're going to see names that have been on the screen throughout the course of our show today. This is our honor roll, and this honor roll, to see all of the names on this honor roll of the 272 officers, you can visit opmf.ca.
Yes. What you're seeing now is the Ontario Provincial Police following the RCMP and the military, and they're now going past the reviewing stand. Before today's ceremonies, there was two probationary constables fresh from the Ontario Police College. There's competition at the Police College to participate in this event. And the two officers that were chosen this year was Constable Caitlin McIntyre of the London Police Service and Constable James DeJasmet of the Halton Police Service. They had the honor of reading the list of names of officers that are on the memorial wall, including this year's people that have gone on, officers that have gone on.
You're seeing shots now of the Ryan Russell Memorial Band. We have a variety of music and instruments throughout the ceremony today. We did have the Ryan Russell Band, as well as the All Nations Singers, and we saw them. They're a new addition to the ceremony this year.
And we have 19 pipe bands from different police services across the province, plus the correction officers' pipe band. We have the ceremonial band of the Waterloo Regional Police, was the brass band that was playing the national anthems, and we had the last post played by Jordan McIntosh of the London Police Service. He also played Reveille on the bugle. And the lament was played by John Mackay of the Kingston Police Service, a good name for a piper, Mackay.
And truly an honor for everyone involved in this ceremony and in this memorial. You see that there are people lining the streets here around Queen's Park. I'm not sure everyone at home can understand the sheer magnitude. It's been a couple of years since we've seen groups this large, but it is emotional.
It is emotional. It's been a couple years, and unfortunately we've had some terrible tragedies occur, both from the north and from downtown Toronto. So officers have come in full turnout this year to pay their respects to the fallen, not only this year but of years gone past. Right here you're seeing part of the mass pipe bands from the 19 different police agencies. Each police service will be led by their chief of police and their flags, and followed by the ranks behind them. As you see in this picture here, someone's come up and laid their remembrance roses beside their loved one's name, which is an opportunity they have at the end of the ceremony, and the flowers are available for them to lay before their loved one's name at the Granite Memorial.
So this march past could last multiple minutes as they march past Lieutenant Governor and Premier of Ontario, as well as the families of the fallen officers.
We have the march past. As you see, each chief is doing the salute for his particular police force, and in the background there you see the number of pipe bands that are there. Following the once the officers are marching past, we'll see the motorcycles.
Oh, I hear them. Yep. I might hear them.
We'll see over 50 police motorcycles in full dress coming behind, and I expect we may see the mounted units also. On my way in today I saw several horse vans, so we'll see if that's the case.
So there was also another new addition to the ceremony this year, and that was the gun salute.
Yes, that was from the gun salute was in place of the lumber gunners. They were unable to come this year, so members of the Chatham-Kent Firing Party and the chief agreed to fill that vacancy this year, and the chief sent his ceremonial honor guard and to give the 3-volley salute. Now, the 3-volley salute is something that military officers receive. Everybody's familiar with the 21-gun salute, and the 21-gun salute is only for royalty. The Prime Minister gets a separate area, etc. But the 3-volley salute is in recognition of the officers. Now, the Chatham-Kent Firing Party used the Len Enfield rifles. They were a military rifle used in the British Commonwealth between 1895 and saw its last action in 1957. So they're an antique type gun. It's a bolt action gun, as you saw when they reload it. It had a magazine, so they did have to pull the bolt back to eject the spent cartridge, but it loaded as it has a cartridge to it.
Just a few moments ago on your screens, you did see the 2 bronze statues as part of the memorial, and they depict a male officer in dress duty circa 1950 to 1990 and a female officer in modern duty dress. Tell me a little bit more about these statues.
These statues were developed by the Ontario Police Memorial when the park was being developed. They went to an artist, Ziggy Puchta. He was a pretty well-known artist in Canada. He was born in Germany and came over to Canada. One of his favorite or his well-known statues were the ones in front of the Sarnia Blue Water Bridge of the Canadian geese. They have a flock of Canadian geese all done up in a bronze statue flying. And he also did a trophy of the Saddle Dome and used one of the Canada Cup games for the trophy itself. And it was quite an honor to have him do the police memorial statues.
And another important symbol that you and I are both wearing today, as well as our MC Kevin Frankish wore earlier today, the memorial pin. And it has the inscription, "Heroes in life, not death," as we've used throughout today, and the philosophy behind this entire event and foundation.
Well, the Heroes in Life, Not Death pin is a pewter pin developed by the Ontario Police Foundation. It has a badge on the left side of it, a police badge, and inside of that is the trillium flower, which signifies Ontario. The above shows the trilliums growing in a vine and reflective of the design of the wall for the police memorial. The pewter pin, you have the trillium on the pin is in pewter and black. Unless it's a family member, the family members have a trillium in white to signify that one of their loved ones had passed away. Now, these pins are able to be worn by police officers on the day of the Ontario Police Memorial, on the day of the Canadian Police Memorial, and on the event of a on-duty death of an officer is worn to the sunset of the day of the funeral by officers out on the street.
Now here we have the motorcade that has just arrived.
Motorcycles are here in fine form with their yellow jackets on.
We want to remind everyone at home who are watching at home that you can visit ceremonyofremembrance.ca for more information about the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, today's ceremony, how you can help, and how you can learn about future ceremonies, which always happen the first Sunday of May, right here at Queen's Park or in front of Queen's Park at the Memorial Wall. And we'd like to thank members of the planning committee and support staff and crew who make this ceremony so special every single year. Thanks to everyone who has generously contributed to the maintenance of the Ontario Police Memorial. It is through these kind donations that we are able to keep the memory of our fallen alive from generation to generation.